that'll do it. Welcome back to another episode of Clear Hair. We are taking on episodes, all of them, for season 5. Stay tuned, grab some snacks. I have a lot of snips. First things first, before we even get into that, thank you guys so much for not watching any of my videos from Vlogmas. Thank you guys so much for that. I will not be doing a Vlogmas next year. I also thank you guys for supporting Spiritual Sundays. That's a new playlist as well. And then also supporting my Shorts channel. We're almost at 100,000 views on my Shorts channel. So thank you guys for bringing in those views, and we will get right into it. So the way we're going to do today, we're going to do 5 minutes per episode, basically like my commentary slash just like commentary also slash like summary of each one. So stay tuned, locked in for almost an hour. Let's go. So episode 1, first things first, recap. So husband is still in Paris. Right. I have on here Sylvie Walks Rich. Right. Sylvie Walks Rich. Sylvie. First of all, like whenever I see her age, like my brain just explodes. Like she's supposed to be 62, but I think she's lying. But she walks rich. Like I don't know what she's eating, I don't know what she's drinking, I don't know what it is, but she looks amazing. So Mindy turned down her role for judging, because remember they presented her like with the role from last time, from her being a judge in China, you know, since she was banned from there. I have on here too, Emily is in Italy. So she is heading the Agence Squatto office in Italy. Alfie's CFO, and he's still working with Antoine. Just give me a little bit thing here. So Gabriel, you know, our known toxic person, he goes to Italy, and so he's on his Joe Wahlberg, right? From You, he's just watching them and they look happy. And so basically Sylvie takes him on a walk and says, hey, let me show you the real Italy. I mean, you already flew out here, because I looked it up. A flight from Italy to France is like an hour to 2.5 hours. So basically from Tampa to Miami. So I can see why it was such a quick one. I keep forgetting in Europe, the countries all over each other. Florida, you drive for an hour, you still probably in that city still. Anyways, we end up meeting Marcello's family, and so we end up meeting Marcello's family, and they go truffle hunting. I did not know truffles came from the ground. I'm gonna look at them sideways now. I'm gonna still eat them, but I did not know truffles came from the ground. So of course she's wearing the highest stilettos that Emily can find, and they didn't want to tell her. And my thing, like with the sisters not liking her, like my main thing is just that whenever I see a family and the sisters are that toxic, something is wrong with that dynamic. Run, Emily, run! Anyways, so basically they're trying to go, like basically Agence Squatto is trying to get different clients. So Gucci, Prada, and then so Gucci, Prada, and so like we go also back to Gabriel with the Michelin star. They're cutting the budget because he's starting to experiment, and you know they don't want to do that. And then I have on here too, so Alfie broke up with his girlfriend, and so him and Mindy end up trauma bonding. Okay, they end up trauma bonding, and they end up going to dinner. To me, I just feel like this is why I said exes should not hang around your friends. I don't know, it's just because it's gonna be very easy to be like, because sometimes you get some of the love at secondhand love, I call it, like when you're around this person's relationship so much that you start falling in love with the people. I know it's real, stop doing it. But my overall review of the first episode, it started off a little slow. I do feel like they could have put more of something to draw you in, because right now we're pretty much watching from nostalgia. Like I remember I think it was season 1 or there was a season where like every episode I was like, I needed to finish it, even if I was tired and I was going to work like this, I needed to finish the episode. So I felt like for this to be the first episode, where's Kami? Like, you know, like Camille, she was annoying, but we needed her. we kind of needed at least some type of interesting thing, because right now, like, there's nothing that's pulling me to this season. I finished this season out of straight nostalgia. Like, it's the end of the year. We'll talk about that later on, about releasing a series at the end of the year during Christmas when people are with their families. We'll talk about that later. But the first episode is Okay, so coming into episode 2, so now they're trying to basically make a perfume for Moratori. So basically there was a bebe like perfume that they try to promote with the best nose and the best nose out of there with Antoine, best nose out of France. So basically they're trying to make like a scent, like a cashmere scent Moratori. They want to build relationships. They want to show that they build relationships. So they're basically trying to go a film. They're going to do a film, like a flashback film. They're working on this film. And of course, the director, Sylvie, is dating the director. Let's go. She's dating the director. And so basically, it also shows too that Alfie and Mindy are starting to test the waters of like what's okay, what's not okay. Which me personally, I just feel like I don't know why they would think this is going to be the hook that's going to get us into the season. If anything, I don't see where it came from. Anyways, Mindy does her singing performance, and she's singing a lot more this season, and I keep forgetting how beautiful her voice is, so I want to hear more. And so now that they're in Italy, now old trust issues are popping up, like with Marcello and Emily. Like a lot of his exes are hanging around. Of course, they all look like they should be walking for Milan Fashion Week. Everybody's a model, and Emily is this short little mama. And so all these, all his exes, like he's like, oh, so she confronts her. It's like, hey, like, I had an issue with an ex because Kami was insane with Gabrielle, like, insane. Anyways, but so she tries to get flashbacks of how it was with Kami, and she was like, hey, like, do I have anything to worry about? And he's like, oh, well, I talk to everybody like that. We're Italian. We're very feely and touchy. I was like, that is wrong because you ain't touching your homeboy like that. I want to see you touch your homeboy like that. Okay? Like, whenever people are like, I'm just an affectionate person, then go hug your homeboy. Hug your homeboy like that. Hug your homeboy around the neck. I guess you're not. Okay, then. Anyways, I have on here, too, that Sylvie has an Italian and a French brew. So basically her and her husband are in, Sylvie and her husband Laurent. Laurent gotta be French for cheater, because every Laurent I know is not faithful. They're not faithful. Anyway, so she goes to she ends up having an Italian boo and a French boo, and I was like, you know what? Like, Sylvie is that girl. Like, I know it's not right, but Sylvie is that girl. So basically, they have an open marriage, and they both are okay with the other person having partners, which I'm just like, I feel like whenever I see a relationship like that, at your base, you don't like each other. Because I don't even like sharing my nieces and nephews with their parents. Like, I be telling my brother, get my niece, coming from. I don't even like sharing my nieces and nephews. So you can only imagine how I would feel like about a partner. Like, what are you talking about? You're okay with sharing this person? It has nothing to do with that aspect, that PG-13 aspect. It's just the attention. Like, I want my nieces and nephews to myself, Anyways, I couldn't imagine sharing the attention. And then, so basically, trust issues ensue with Marcello. So this episode was kind of a little bland. It was kind of a little dry. Hydrate. It was a little dry. There was something about this episode that I was just like, this is not pulling me to finish it. Like, the last thing we need is another Gabrielle Cami situation. Gabrielle Cami, if you never watched the series, you don't need to. You don't need to. The whole series. You can just watch my episode and you don't gotta watch the previous one. So Gabrielle and Cami, Gabrielle was basically her neighbor in France, and they fell in love hard, but he had a girl, but she didn't say anything. They were on a break. It was complicated. I was like, listen, one thing I know about complicated relationships, they're like a virus. They spread to you. So now you are in a complicated situation now. So I personally, my advice to people is don't do it. That's my advice to people. But that was pretty much like, she feels like Marcello keeps talking to his exes, like he's hugging them too hard, or like he's smiling at them too much, or something like that. I'm just like, either you with them, or either you trust them or you don't, little mama. Okay? Because I remember we had like this game for Christmas party, had a game, and they're like, oh, Claire, have you ever looked in somebody's phone? I was like, why I gotta look in there? Because it's gonna come to me in a dream. I'm Haitian. Like, it's gonna come to me in a dream. I'm gonna find out somehow. I don't gotta go in your phone, okay? I will find out. It'll be one day I walk by, your phone's open and it shows somebody. Like, I will always find out, all right? But I just feel like with her, either you trust him or you don't. Leave him alone. with the perfume thing with Mototori, like, I don't know. I feel like that was like a side quest. It didn't really go past that. I was like, they were continuing it for the last season, but I don't know why. All right. So episode 3. All right. So basically, episode 3, she's trying to please Marcello's mom, because they're in business. They've signed with Agence Gato. They signed with them, but the thing about it is that his mom, like, she likes to play, like, she doesn't know if she wants to be with you or not. And then JVMA Nico, I don't know if y'all remember him. Nico is Minnie's Obu, but like, he's the son of the billionaire for JVMA, right? And they're also trying to place a bet on them as well. Place a bet on Mototori as well. I just like that name. They're trying to place, put like an offer onto them as well. But she's still trying to please her. And I'm just like, one thing I can say about Emily. Emily is that girl. Like, her confidence, like, she reminds me a lot of myself. Like, I'm used to people telling me no, but I'm also used to getting that yes eventually. So she still keeps fighting and fighting and fighting no matter what they say about her. She's so, like, people be thinking that because Emily is nice, she has, like, Emily's confidence, she got that down pat. Anyways, so Mindy, because of her singing performance, she gets offered like this dancing, like almost like a Dancing with the Stars type show. So she's trying to dance with the trainer, and like he only speaks Italian, which makes sense. And so he only speaks Italian, which makes sense. And so, so she can't get the move. So she asks Alfie. She was like, "Hey," she asks Alfie, and she's just like, "Hey, can you come dance with me?" And that's when we get that scene, because I paused because I'm just like, you could have got any other guy to come help practice with you. But you got, like, sometimes we got to realize, this is a call to action. Sometimes we got to realize that it don't really be temptation. Like, it don't be really, how is it temptation? When you invited it into the house, that's not really temptation, fam. That's not really temptation. Temptation is that you can't avoid it. You called Buddy up. You knew there are certain dancings that was when y'all get close. Like, you knew what time it was. And Alfie ain't no better because he knew what time. Like, to me, if I was doing a dance competition and I needed somebody to practice with, I would practice with my partner. Because this is someone who I had to perform. I'd have been like, hey, let's go to lunch. Let's go to brunch. Let's really get to know each other. That's who I practiced with. You knew what you was doing, little mama. Stop playing. Anyway, so they end up kissing. Duh. End up kissing. And so they're about to go to the next level. And Mindy was like, we can't do this. Everybody say that. And then we had the baby shower eating meatballs. Stop lying. Anyways, the next one. So pretty much during bailando. ¿Cómo se dice? Okay, bailando. Basically the performance on the show, that's what the show's called. And so during the performance, like, the one guy was like, hey, we're not going to do the lift, because they were trying to do this, what was it, Dirty Dancing, like the list, when they put them in the air. So basically they were trying to do that. And so he told her in Italian, he said, hey, I turked my back this week, we can't do this. And of course she doesn't understand, so she goes into run and she ends up knocking him down. And so what ends up happening was that the performance was trash. So she goes home, and so she wanted to do a drink. She wanted to just go home because she's like, it's such a bad night, blah, blah. And Alfie's like, let's share a cab. Let's share a cab. You knew what time that was. You knew what time that was. Let's share a cab. Anyways, so I put on here red flag. And of course, it shows that they spend a night with each other. Look, that was Alfie. He was getting mad at me talking trash about him. But like, they end up spending the night with each other. And I'm just in the corner. I'm just like, y'all need to understand. I was like, y'all need to understand with me. Like, we're adults. Like, we know what time it is. To me, I felt like it would have been like, hey, I understand you want to share a cab, but I don't think emotions running high. I don't think it's a good thing if we share a cab. I'm just going to go home. All right. Block his number. Go to bed that night. Okay. Because can Jesus come? Like, I always say that. Can Jesus come? If not, you already know it's going to be a red flag. So I end up sleeping with each other, and it shows that. But this episode was actually interesting. Like, there was a lot of there was just a lot going on that I was like, finally, like something interesting. Like this was actually an interesting episode. So episode 3, hold out. Episode 1 and 2 was a little dry, water break, but episode 3 is that girl. So we go into episode 4. So Alfie and Mindy basically, like, they start, Alfie wants more, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, well, this is just vacation, because they're in the shower or whatever. And they're like, oh, this is just vacation, la, la, la. It's not really, it's just vacation, la, la, la. So, like, we can't, don't worry about it. Like, they're basically saying, like, oh, it's just it's just an Italian fling or whatever. And he's just like, okay, well, then let's fling again or whatever. You know, I'm coming from. I was like, okay, fam. Anyway, so there's starting to be conflict with Agence Gâteau in France and Agence Gâteau in Italy. So there are actual people who want to pay them money, basically their clients in France, are getting upset because it's like, well, we want to be with you in person. You're not even here. So that starts getting that push and pull. And in Italy, like, they want to secure a spot. They want to secure a spot in Italy. Like, Muratori would be the first one to actually be able to procure other people, because the thing about, y'all don't understand, like, with the upper echelon of people, everything is word of mouth. Everything's word of mouth. It's just like, hey, who does your insurance? Hey, who does this? Hey, like, everything's word of mouth. That has nothing to do with if this person's good at their job or not. That's why with being an art curator and working at a art museum or whatever, like, yeah, you can get your degree, but it's dependent on who likes you. It depends on who you know. So at the end of the day, like, they need to secure that spot. It's getting crazy. So they have the premiere at Muratori. And the premiere of Muratori, the video basically that they ended up filming, and Sylvie's boo got mad. Child. Anyways, I was like, he got mad. And so basically what ended up happening is just that it went viral. So now everybody came there to start doing content creating, and they're basically clogging up the arteries. And my thing is the fact that, like, when it comes to content creating, like, this movie, this episode 4, like, this was really a good way of truly showing. It was a good way of truly showing just how bad it's gotten. Okay, it's gotten really, really bad, where we're ruining things that were never supposed to be visited, you know. So I can definitely see like where I get it. Okay, it was a come to God moment. I was like, dang, like, content creator, like, as someone who is a content creator, okay, not an influencer. You can get influenced by what I'm making, but I'm not an influencer. But as someone who's a content creator, like, dang, like, I felt so bad, because, like, that's what we're doing. Like, we're ruining these things. Like, these are things that no one was supposed to really see. No one's supposed to really see. No one's supposed to really be able to, like, have access to. And here we are ruining it. So I was just like, dang, they ate us up with that one. And so basically what ends up happening is just that Muratori ends up putting their bet in with JVMA. And so Marcello knew the whole time. So he's like, this is so great, because now, since they doubled their offer, since we got so much press. And she was like, well, you knew this whole time, so you knew I was going to fail. And he was like, oh, it's not like that, or blah blah. And so, like, they end up having where Sylvie does this thing where I feel like she's who I aspire to be in my 60s. I don't know about sleeping with randoms. I don't know about that. But, like, she's who I aspire to be in my 60s, because, like, she has this confidence to her, but she's also very human. She was like, hey, like, sometimes you need to know how to cut your losses, you know? So they have a moment there as they look on the sunset of Italy and be like, hey, like, we got to close this. Like, we got to close this. It's not working. Our French clients want to go. Our French clients want to leave. And no one wants to secure us over here. It's not working over here. The formula's not working. And I felt like, to me, episode 4 was one of the top episodes to me, because even in my own life, like, I tell you guys all the time, like, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, but I'm an accountant. Like, I'm a GL accountant, so general ledger accountant. So basically nothing that has to do with it. But there was a time where, like, I was like, okay, I got to do this with psychology. I try to make it work. And I was like, I'm just going to go into accounting. Okay. All right. I had somebody take pity on me. I'll tell you the truth. I had somebody take pity on me. I'm a quick study. And now I've been doing accounting for 10 years. So it's just, sometimes you gotta know when to cut your losses, but it really hurts because you don't care about the fact that failed. You care about the fact that you had this idea of what you thought your life was gonna look like. So episode 5. So Sylvie sees her husband with somebody at their apartment because they're back. Now they're back. They left Rome. Now they're back in France. Okay. And so she sends her. And so he sees her with somebody and they left their contacts behind, which I'm just like, where was she going to go without her contacts case though? I don't know. Anyways, but they have an open relationship, but it kind of brings her to the mindset of like, maybe this really isn't working. Anyway, so that also showed me too, like, because he went to, I think I referenced it earlier. So basically, Laurent went to Italy and saw her with her Italian boo and got jealous. And then to come back to France and say he already has somebody. Like, this just tells you that these men ain't it sometimes. Anyway, so Mindy and Alfie are continuing their rendezvous, unfortunately, even though it's supposed to only be an Italian thing. So Genevieve, I have on here too, why is she here? So I was like, why is she here? And I was like, oh, now I see why Genevieve is here. She's here to basically expose Alfie and Mindy. Anyway, so Gabriel speaks with Emily. He's going to be leaving soon to go on the road. So Emily is I have on here Emily's being a good friend because even though the JVMA thing didn't go through, she's still doing her job. Like, that's the one thing I can say about her. She's still doing her job. So they were supposed to announce, like Alfie wanted to come to Emily about how he's with Mindy, but Mindy backed out last minute because she saw Nico showed up to her performance. And one thing I can say about men, I can say this just from my personal experience, it's like a signal gets let off the moment you're truly over them. Like, beep, 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 your ex is over you, beep, beep, beep. Morphin time. They just get the audacity, wasting time. Let's go. Like, they go on their way. They're on their way to go waste your time. It behooves me how they do it. They always want you to get over them. So he's at the performance. So she starts thinking twice. And then so she told Alfie about, oh, well, I don't know if it's really the right thing to talk about. He's like, oh, don't even worry about it. There's nothing to explain. So anyway, so afterwards on here, Genevieve finally gets fired. And I was like, I don't understand. I literally had to look up her origin story. I think she's a Nepo baby, the actress. Because I was like, I don't get why she was on the show. She added nothing to the show. Like, I can't sit there and think, we need Genevieve on this show. Like, we don't need her. I don't know why she was on the show. It was really weird. So they end up firing her because she was trying to do Bonjour, B-word merchandise at the place, and they're like, let's just fire her. Like, she's barely a good assistant anyway. She's trying to push herself. But she's the stepdaughter of she's Laurent's daughter, who was Sylvie's husband. So like, that was like her stepdaughter, so she felt like she had to deal with her, but you don't really have to deal with nobody. Anyways, so she ends up telling Emily about Alfie and whatever. And so Emily confronts her and says, oh, I don't know, are you in an open relationship? Because she's like, oh, should I go back with Nico? She's like, oh, I don't know, is Alfie into open relationships? So basically blowing her spot up. And so Gabrielle resigns to be a professional chef on a ship, like, just for the world or whatever. And me personally, I actually love that for Gabrielle. Like, I feel like he's ahead of his time. Like, he want to do plant-based menu and basically move forward. Because like I said, like, the meat industry, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but I could see the meat industry dying off in a little bit. I ain't gonna hold you. And I say a little bit, like the next 50, 60 years, like probably sooner, we don't know. But the meat industry is dying. So like, for him to be able to have that forethought of doing that, definitely for sure. Like, yes, sir. My review for this episode, this was actually a really good episode. Episode 4 was better, but episode 5 was a good halfway point. I think I stopped watching at this point. Like, I finished the rest of the episodes, but I took a break. I was like, this is a good stopping point. This is a good, like, let me go, I don't know, walk outside or something. Let me go touch grass real quick, and then I'll come back to finish it. But no, it was a good stopping point. Mindy and Alfie getting exposed was insane because, like, Genevieve had to do it because they had to give her something to do, because I forgot about her character. If you notice, I did not review her in the last season because she's irrelevant. And I hate that for her because she's probably an amazing actress, but they didn't really give her a lot. They didn't really give her a lot to work with, so I don't know, but definitely Gabriel being a chef on the seas, like that's perfect for him because I feel like he's truly never been free. Because remember, he was with Kami, and then like he was with Kami, then he was with Emily, and then he was with Kami again. Like he's never been on his own for real. So we love that for Gabriel. Anyways, episode 6. So episode 6, this is the ripple effect of finding out that Alfie and Lil Mama was whatevering. So Alfie and Mindy were going together, and so she's not mad or anything. She's not saying how she feels, and so Mindy chases after her, and I was like, why are you chasing after her? And platforms took me out. So she ended up throw a baguette or a bread at her face or something like that, and so she ended up throwing this bread at her face. I don't know why she threw it. I don't know, but that bread looked good. I just, like, I just love to eat. I was like, I want that bread. I want that bread so bad. Anyway, so she ends up throwing this bread at her big head. And so she was like, if you're not going to be mad at me, I'm going to go. So she ends up staying with Julien. So Julien is one of the other characters on the show. Like, he's amazing. Like, he's one of those friends you need because he knew about Alfie and Mindy, but he didn't say anything because he didn't want to hurt Emily's feelings. Like, that's a true friend right there, low key. All right. Plus, this wasn't his place to say. He just walked in on them kissing one time. Anyway, so basically she moves out temporarily because she's like, if you're ready to have a real conversation, I get it, because like I had a friend like that too, where I feel like I was always on eggshells with her, and I was like, listen, I'm tired of Fear Factor. I'm leaving. Okay, I'm leaving the friendship. I'm not gonna be worrying about whether or not we friends or not every single day. That's insane. Anyways, so it shows Alfie. Alfie got a fresh lineup. I think I put that as my notes. So basically, they're looking for a new chef and the new idea, which is really cool. She ends up telling her, Emily ends up telling him that, oh, she knows, and his reaction was like, oh, okay, like he's a dude, like the emotion wasn't there. He's chilling. Anyways, but like basically the idea that's just so cool is that they're gonna have like a competition of who's gonna be the best chef to start at the restaurant, which is perfect because then like Emily, I can say about Emily, that degree is working because that's so smart, because now people will get attached to this. People will get attached to this person, and they'll be like, okay, well, I voted for this person to win. Now I'm gonna go to a restaurant to show support. It's perfect. You gotta get people emotionally attached, okay? And then so this one I also called episode 6 is like an episode filler. So we meet Jake from State Farm. Basically, he's from the embassy. So she went out by herself because she doesn't have Mindy. So she went out by herself and they were having trivia. And so he came upon her and was like speaking to her. It's like, hey, I want to do blah, blah. And she was like, okay, I'll join your team. So they end up talking and blah, blah. And so the next day, for the next day, they end up going to Nico and Mindy. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm skipping. I'm a little ahead of myself. 1 second. I have the embassy yet. So they meet at the embassy. Like he works at the embassy, and then I have on here too. Nico and Mindy end up like basically trying to see where things are going. Which me personally, like with Mindy, like I don't think no man deserves her, but Nico is not that. I get it. He fine. The 6-pack, we get it. All right. It came fresh from the store. We get it. But to me, like the fact that he blew up Eurovision for her, because Eurovision to me was going to make her like a household name. But for him blowing up Eurovision, because basically he exposed the song so she wouldn't win or blah, blah. Something around that era. And I was just kind of like, okay, baby girl, we get it. But I am still kind of confused. I have on here too, L'Oreal Kiss Through Paris. Basically, I have on here through Afro representation. The person who is in charge of L'Oreal, like she had an afro, and I was like, oh my goodness, the healing. Every time I see an afro on the screen, healed. That's why I made the commitment for 2025 is to be another face so I can heal y'all guys as well, to have my hair out as much as I can. But I was very confuddled about this as well. I didn't really understand what Kissing Through Paris, like basically Sylvie went through her Instagram, added her on Instagram and went through Instagram. It was just like, oh, she's kissed this guy, Gabriel, Alfie. I know they didn't put Cammy's little brother, thank God, because she was dating him. She with him a little bit, and I was like, ugh. But yeah, like her Kissing Through Paris, like, oh, for like, it was supposed to be infallible lip stain. You can kiss through Paris. And I was just like, eek. That's why it got turned down. It actually got traded for Friendship is More Long Lasting. which was way better. Which was way better. But overall, episode 6, they could have kept that. Episode 6 could have been an email. Like, I felt like it didn't really add much to the plot. Like, it did its thing, but it wasn't really, I don't know. It really wasn't. Okay, so episode 7. So this one is going to be they open up, like they're having like an open, I'm trying to describe it, like they're having like an open forum, and like Sylvie's talking, and so Marcello is there, and basically they asked a question for, basically said, do you have any questions for him for Moratori? And so Emily stands up. She was like, hey, I have a question. Do you usually do, basically she said something passive aggressive. So he came back with his passive aggressiveness as well. And my thing is, this is so unprofessional. Like, I was just bragging on Emily for being professional earlier with Alfie, still working with her, even though she know that he was smashing her best friend. I don't like that. Like, you're still representative of your company, and this is why you're not the CEO of your company. You're very unprofessional. So Sylvie, since she's on Instagram now, she gets in contact with her old friend Yvette, and basically she gets in contact with her old friend Yvette or whatever. And so Yvette is just like, hey, I have this chocolatier who's, I don't know, as old as dirt, and she was trying to hook her up. And I was like, you gotta understand, Sylvie's type is fine. Like, I don't know if you noticed. So I was like, have you been watching this series? Sylvie's type is fine. That's how when she showed up with this dude who was probably there when chocolate was first discovered. Like, she don't want Willy Wonka. She wants somebody who finds her. So she ends up leaving the party, and she ends up running into a guy, and he's fine, which is Sylvie's type. And so she ends up meeting this guy, and so like they have a 5 to 7 p.m. schedule every day, about when they meet up and link up or whatever. So I'm just like, okay. And so I have on here too. So there's like I guess a double date and a half. I don't know, a tricycle date between Mindy, Nico, and Marcello. And so they're basically Mindy is playing like basically her and Mindy, basically after the friendship thing, they ended up forgiving each other because she was like, oh, I didn't have nobody to talk to. I was just like, I know Emily, because Emily's a lot. Like, I don't know why she was making this. If I was Mindy, I know what I bring to the table, all right? And you can't get too mad. Alfie is fine. I ain't gonna hold you, respectfully, all right? You gotta give me a break there, all right? But I still wouldn't have, because that's your friend and you know they were in love with each other. This is awkward. Anyways, but my thing with this episode, they're basically going back and forth about like, oh, I don't know if does Alfie want me there? Did he ask me there? And I was just like, now I get older, and like that's pretty much the end of the episode. But like now I get older, like I'm starting to see that 100% of the problems that arise are from bad communication. What are we doing? Because to me, I want to hear this person out. Like, I want to hear this person out. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, and I'm done with you. Like, before I block somebody, before I kick somebody off, like, I want to know that I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to sound stupid telling this story. That's how I see it. And other people may see it differently, but I don't want to sound stupid telling the story. Because I know some people where, sorry, this video an hour long. Let me drink my water. Anyways, but I feel like there's something really crazy about the fact that they could have just solved this. He could have flew into France, and he could be like, hey, can I speak to you real quick? And then he was like, it didn't seem like you want to talk to me. I was just like, if this is going to be a long-term relationship, you just can't sit there. What's going to be? Okay, so when you get irritated with me, you're just going to leave the house? You're going to leave me with the kids in the house? You need to speak. Like, you can't speak? You can't speak? Huh? You can't speak? Anyways, but yeah, that was one point. And then another thing too as well, with this episode was the fact that with him presenting like his new line, Marcello Moratori, his line does sound expensive. Like, it sounds like an Italian fashion brand. Okay. What are you wearing? Marcello Moratori. You know, like that, it do hit. So I don't know why he never thought of that in the first place. I don't know why that was never a thought, but definitely for sure the way they're both acting as childish is nothing that I can see that would last long term. But I could be getting ahead of myself. But like when the communication is that bad, like anyway. So episode 8. So now it's a double date. They're riding, which riding chic. I think I put that down too. Like the riding outfits, like the Burberry, the other outfit that I saw that Mindy and Emily were both wearing. I was like, yes, because when I went riding on a horse, I had jeans, I had a jumper on. Like I was not looking that cute. I was like, I need to have better riding outfits next time I go riding. Anyways, so basically something happens that I really like is that Alfie, this is how I can tell Alfie really has real feelings for her, because he wants to reconcile. Because most people, they're just like, if you're not with me, I don't want to be where you are. Like, so he tried to reconcile with her. So he was just saying how like, he was trying to reconcile with her, but it came out, he ended up putting his foot in his mouth because she was saying, oh, I'm back with Nico, right? So basically she low-key saying, can you back off? I'm back with Nico. And so basically what ends up happening is just that like he was just like snakes. I was like, I love this quote, by the way. He was like, he's such a snake. He was basically saying Nico's a snake, and Mindy was like, well, you're working with him. And I quote, snakes know how to make money, but that doesn't mean I want to sleep with them. Child, he ate. Lucian, that was Lucian speaking. That wasn't Alfie. That was Lucian speaking. Let me say it again. Snakes know how to make money. That doesn't mean I want to sleep with them. He ate on that. Like, because sometimes, like, we have a tendency to be like, why is this snake biting me? You knew this snake was a snake when you picked it up. You knew this was a snake when you talked to it, when you entertained it. You knew it was a snake. Why are we playing these games right now? You knew what time it was. He took me out with that. I was like, he ate us up on that one. He ate us up on that one. Okay. I have on here too. Basically, but I have on here too, like the new Beau. His name is Beau. But I was like, this is Beau. Beau means kiss in French. So I don't know. Basically, that's why I call y'all my hair bows. It's really cute, right? Anyways, so basically new Beau love, like basically her new lover, and turns out that her friend Yvette was like, oh, show me pictures of his eggplant. And she was like, no. So she ends up grabbing it because Sylvie was sending pics to him or whatever. And so she ends up seeing it. And so like, she was like, oh, in that picture, because he sent her D pics, in that picture, that looks like my wallpaper. I must be tripping or whatever, blah, blah. Turns out it's Yvette's son that she's been sleeping with. And I'm just like, my thing is like, Sylvie's wrong with that, but 80% of it goes to the mom. Because to me, I feel like, why wouldn't you show your friend your kids? Because one thing I can say, even strangers show me their children. I was literally buying an oven, and I was literally buying an oven, and I was literally buying an oven, and the guy who was selling, he was like, look at my son, he's handsome, isn't he? And he was, I ain't gonna hold you, he was. But like, strangers show me their kids. As a friend, why are you not showing your kids? You're not making any sense. Like, that was the biggest cap, was just that most, especially if your kid is handsome or beautiful, people will be quick to be like, hey, my name is da-da-da. Did you see my kids? Did you see them? Did you see my kids? Like, people are quick to show their kids. So that's where I was just kind of like, Sylvie wasn't wrong, because she said you never mentioned you had children. I was like, that's how I know this is a lie, because people would say, how'd you know I had kids? You told me. Okay. People are going to tell you. Now with dogs, you never know, but people are going to let you know when they have kids. All right. They're going to be bragging about something. Oh, little Emily just did ballet. Eric just finished. Little Emily did ballet. Eric just finished doing A, B, and Z. They're going to know. They're going to tell you as well. So that was the biggest cap there. I have on here too. So Marcello is announcing his fashion brand. And so basically what ends up happening is just that his mom is suing him for copyright for the Moratori name. And my thing is that, in a way, Mama's a little bit right, because I don't know why you trying to go against an Italian mama. That's number one. But number two, and this is very important, like, I don't know why you wouldn't look up the bylaws for that. So that part, mama was a little bit right on that one. She was a little bit right on that. Because I'm just like, why would you not look this up? Even with being a YouTube content creator, like, I looked up the taxes and how much I have to take out, well, like, the money. Like, I looked up everything. Like, why would you do that? Anyways, current number episode 9. So basically, they need an officer moratori. So we, what's his name? I have it written down. Pierre Cardot. So basically, Cardot, he was from previous seasons where he was very just extra, and he, one of their French clients. So one of his ateliers, is that it is? Atelier? I don't know how to look it up. Anyways, but like one of his, like, basically one of his one-offs, probably a tax write-off. One of his places where he does design at, he let Emily have it to give it to him, to Marcello, because it turns out Marcello is an artist. He is a creator. He made all the designs for the clothes, and he didn't say that it was him, which I get it. I get why he didn't do that, because like sometimes I feel like when people find out it's from you, they're not going to support it. Like, I remember I did a quick test of this as well. It's just that I had somebody who was a known hater of mine, and they won't block me. A known hater of mine, and I did somebody else's hair, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, this hair looks so good." Da, 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 da. Who did it? I was like, "I did." They immediately was like, "Oh, okay, well, it's okay, I guess." Okay, like, you see how like you kind of have to lie about certain things that get done, because people will never give you credit. So Moratori and Marcello, I understand why he was evasive about who did the designs, because me personally as well, like certain things I've done, I don't like saying it, because y'all are like, certain people who are bent on hating everything you do, they're not going to give you credit. So I just want to just let that love stay there. Okay, I know I did it anyways, but so basically Gabrielle ends up calling Emily. He's like, "Hey, so he's been doing well on the ship," which we're happy for Gabrielle. He's doing well on the ship, and he ends up being like, "Hey, Emily, like, I have this." He didn't say he had the summer off, but like they pretty much, like, his boss pretty much says, "Hey, I have you've been working all year, so you have, I think it was like 3 months off in Greece or something like that." So he's like, "Hey, before I go to Greece, like, I wanted to link up with you. Can you, I left so fast in a rush, I left my knives." And I was like, now you know you could have Ubered that. He wanted to see Emily. Stop playing. Talking about I left my knives. Why are you making it seem like that, like he paying you pennies on that shit? Personal chefs make 6 figures and up. Stop playing. I know you making the money. He could have easily had that Ubered, or he could have had somebody go pick up his knives for him, or have it courier. Stop playing. He wanted to see Emily. Anyway, so basically, like they end up, like, he ends up having it where like she's gonna meet him at 1 o'clock. And my thing is, like, I don't know if she told Marcello about it, but something tells me in true Emily fashion, she did not tell Marcello about it, which to me, I'm just like, you going to meet your ex boo. Like, I'm not in a relationship with Marcello, but like, as Marcello, I would feel some type of way. Like, you going to meet someone who you have crazy history with, and you're going to give him some knives. I would think y'all smashing. Anyway, so they end up having a lunch date. So when they leave, she ends up forgetting that the knives was the reason why they brought it, and then like she brought it back to him on the train before it went away. He's like, "You're such a good friend." I was just like, wrap this up. Anyways, so basically, Alfie and Mindy, they're on speaking terms now, and so she has booked this role as a rat. A rat who is a lady of the night, but it's a cartoon. So she booked the role. So she was laughing with Mindy. So Nico comes up and he's like, "Oh, so what's funnier?" Blah blah. And like he doesn't laugh as much, because Alfie and Mindy was having a good kiki about it. You know, she said, "Oh, it's gonna be perfect. I can cover rent." Blah blah. And so they're having a good kiki laugh about it. I was like, oh my goodness, like they're truly meant to be friends. Anyways, but. So they end up kissing, Nico and Mindy end up kissing. So he ends up, Alfie's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go, be anywhere but here," pretty much. Okay. So Marcello's having a moment where he's like, "I don't want to do this. I want to do this." I was like, to me, I've noticed that when you are doing something new and it's good and you don't want to do it, you need to do it twice as hard. I know, because I fought being a content creator for a very long time. Very long time. I was like, what if they don't like me? My voice is annoying, you know? So I fought being a content creator for a very long time. But anyways, So Fashion Week's back on. She was able to convince him to do it, even though like Marcello was like, "Stop, Emily, stop supporting me." I'm just like, that's already a red flag because baby, I don't gotta support you. I could easily sit here and be in my soft girl life. If I like supporting you to me, like for me to support you and you keep turning down, I ain't gonna support you no more. I'm gonna let you do whatever you want to do, which that's what she ends up doing. Like Emily pretty much leaves the reins because Emily's always trying to fix things. Okay, so this is the final episode. It's called Vini Vidi Venezia. So I'm assuming Vini is like come. Vidi is conquered Venezia, Venice. So came conquered Venice. So Venice Fashion Week is where they're going to be going. So this is the last episode. So what ends up happening is just that Emily is being nosy as per usual. So she's looking for her passport, which I'm just like, is her visa expired? This girl, this is the 5th season, little mama. Anyways, Emily of Europe. Okay. So she's looking for her passport. She ends up finding a wedding ring. And of course she assumes that it's hers. And I'm just like, my thing is like, what if he got this from his mom? Like, what if he took that from his mom before his mom exiled him? Like, let's not assume. To me, unless I see the ring and you propose it to me, I'm assuming you just carrying jewelry around. Okay, I don't want to assume at all. Especially when it comes to men, you will always be wrong. All right. Anyway, so basically they're eating tiramisu at a dinner, and she's like, "Hey." He was like, keep digging at the bottom of the tiramisu. She's like, oh, my ring's in here. Which I'm just like, I always thought food proposals was so unsanitary. Oh my goodness, I almost ate my ring. Perfect. Now the saliva can go on my finger. It's gross. It's gross. Anyway, so basically they go to dinner. They end up doing a dinner proposal, and there's no proposal. It's just tiramisu. I was like, what is going on? Tiramisu. And so Venice, the venue ends up being underwater, which Venice is a water-based city. Okay, what Venice is sinking is not us being funny. Like, it really is sinking. Like, it's below sea level. It's literally on water. Okay, so basically what ends up happening is that it's underwater, so you gotta think fast of like, we have to have this photo shoot, we have to have this runway, and like it's underwater, what's going on, right? So basically what ends up happening is that they end up using rubber boots and giving people boots. And me personally, I've actually seen photo shoots and runways where they intentionally flooded. So that's why I was just kind of like, this has been done before. I don't know why it was a problem, but whatever. So it ends up being a blast. His mom comes, so I'm just kind of like, why is his mama here? But then again, I was like, I also know, as someone who is the child of baby boomers, like, as much as they want to sit here and say they're unapproved of you, they want to see if you're gonna pass or not. Okay, so she ends up coming. She's like, "Oh, this is beautiful, and I give you full control of moratori now." And I'm just like, "I'm not gonna sue you anymore." I was like, "Oh no, being a good parent, perfect, girl. If you don't get out my face." Like, his mom was Aggie she was the real villain of this whole series. I ain't gonna hold this whole episode, this whole season. Anyways, so Marcello is just like, move back with me to Italy, and Emily's just like, this okay, and he said you could be the publicize or whatever, be their marketing manager, whatever account of that, and like she's thinking about it. And so Laurent, who is Sylvie's husband, everything starts coming crashing down episode 10, so catch up. So Laurent, who is Sylvie's man, he has debt, and he took like millions. He took like $2 million loan against the apartment that they got into business with Sylvie's mom. And so she's like, I want a divorce. And then they're coming for her assets too, because that's how marriage works. People don't understand. That's why I said, before you get married, think twice. So basically, by proxy, Anjan Scrato is going to be underwater. They're going to be able to put a lien on the building as well. So that's one of the assets. So once you get married, you trade each other's assets under law. And so basically when they come back and like Mindy, so it turns out that the ring was for Mindy, because Nico was like, because Marcello was holding the ring for him, that's kind of sweet, because now she won't accidentally fall into it like Emily did. So Emily thought that Marcello was proposing to her, so she ended up just word vomit. It was like, yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could leave. I set up a life in France. I couldn't do this. And Marcello's just like, this wasn't even about you, but thank you for letting me know that. So they ended up breaking up permanently. So So basically, Mindy says yes to the proposal, but then she comes back. Alfie's just like, what's that? I was like, listen, that black side, because I know Alfie's mixed. That black side came out, that Caribbean man came out real quick. He's like, what is that? When he saw the wedding ring on her hand, even I was like, girl, take it off. Anyways, so basically, like, she still has feelings for Alfie, no duh. And so he's like, she knows what I mean. I was like, I know that's right. Yeah. Anyway, so new co-owner, and then it also ends with a postcard from Gabrielle saying, meet me in Greece. So overall, just real quick, with Emily in Paris, I just feel like the best thing they can do is end the series. Like, I know there's going to be a season 6, because I know they're going to try to like venture more with Alfie, and then they want to bring Gabrielle in Greece, Emily in Greece. I know they want to bring that back to that. But me personally, like, I say you got to end on a high note. Like, it's kind of like when Rihanna, y'all keep asking Robin to make more music and she won't. You know, like, R8 was her best project, hands down. Okay, people are still playing the music to this day. That was almost 10 years ago. Sometimes you gotta know when to end on a high note. Like, it's kind of like with me, like with certain jobs, I was just like, I'd rather leave before I start being mean. Okay, before I start getting to the point where I hate coming in here every day. You know, I'd rather just leave before then. You know, so I feel like in that same aspect, I think it's his time. You know, I think it's time to end it. I don't really see how making Alfie was very douchey this season. Like, it just gave me, oh, I'm hot because I have a British accent and 6-pack. And he's correct. But seriously though, I just really feel like there was no part of this season, and then like the filler episode with Jake from Embassy, like that filler episode, I was like, it just felt so out of place. Like, I felt like I was watching a different show. Like, maybe because like he's very American, and they were like doing American things, like trivia night, like I'd be doing. But I don't know, like something about that was really frustrating for me, because I don't really know what I was watching. Like, I don't know, that was the episode filler. I love watching the outfits. I feel like Emily in Italy, the fashion was it. Like, she did her, I don't know if the Italians just dress better than the French. Am I allowed to say that? No Italiana. Okay. They dress way, like, her when she was in Italy, her wardrobe was chef's kiss, because sometimes some of the outfits in France that she chooses, like, I had this beret here to put as one of the outfits, but I don't know, like, the beret was just a little bit like very tacky. So there's just something so insane about it, you know, like there's something really insane about it. So I don't really understand why there was that, like some of the outfits, and then like Mindy as well, some of the outfits that she wear. The only person who I like their outfits would have to be Sylvie, like overall. Now, some of them I'm just like, even at 34, like, little mama, that's too much skin. That's too much skin, Sylvie. But to know she's 62, like, I don't know what apples and fruit she's eating, because I know she has to be vegan. That's a vegan body. There's no way no meat is entering that. Like, she gives me vegan body, but like some of the outfits, I was just like, there's like some cutouts, and I was like, girl, we're at Fashion Week. Like, I get it, but like, it was time and place at some of the outfits. But overall, like every outfit she wore, like she's that girl. Like, she is what I hope I will be in my 60s. Okay, maybe not as showy, you know, but like she is who I expect to be in my 60s. Like, she is that girl. Like, there's something about her outfits that really just gave me dang, like I really need to make sure I keep drinking my water, because I want the body to still be tea in my 60s. Okay, and the way she walks, she walk like she has a couple of yachts in her name. Like, I don't know how she do it. She walk rich. But overall, like, it was really cool to see everybody, but I mostly watched it for nostalgia. I couldn't sit there and say this season added to the plot. Like, I was glad to not see Kami, but I was also sad to not see her. It was half and half, because I have a love-hate relationship with her, because Kami is very Aggie. Like, there's something about her character that just always gave Like, it always gave just place here, kind of like Genevieve, like something about her as well. Like, her character was unreasonable. It was really cool to see Julien. I want Julien to have a little bit more screen time in season 6. Lucas, like, seeing him have, sorry, Luke, I'm gonna say Lucas. Luke, like, he was really funny. Like, there's just something about his humor that's really, really cool. But Julien, like, I really want him to have more screen time next season. Like, and not because he's black as well, but something about his, like, character. Like, I really like the way he handled the whole Alfie and Mindy situation. He was just more like, you know, like, he didn't want to get involved, but he didn't want to hurt Emily's feelings either. Because if he didn't like her, he'd be like, hey, look who I saw, you know. But I also like the relationship between Sylvie and everybody else on the team. Like, she really has this love for them. And Sylvie also showed me that we really are just figuring out, like, we're not really adults. Like, we're not really adults. We're just figuring it out. Like, we're really just figuring it all out. So I definitely love watching that. But continuing it, I don't understand what else we would have to talk about. So don't forget to subscribe, share. Au revoir.